We waste all of our time getting wasted. Yeah, we live every day like it's the weekend. Wants a job when a 9 to 5's overrated. Rather wake up in a truck bed at 2 p.m. They say we should grow.
Welcome to East Coast DNA. I always have a smirk when I have technical issues because it usually means we had a couple attempts getting started here. Today's one of those times. So thank you, Rodney, for having patience with me here today.
No problem, Darcy. This has been a long time coming for us, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So we had met back at ECMAs in May. So I mean, we're just dangling near the end of the year, even as of this recording, because this isn't out day of, but even as of this recording, we're already into November.
hmm
So it definitely has been a little bit. We've somewhat stayed in contact. So I'm hoping to get you out of Newfoundland at some point and maybe into another part of the Maritime so I can meet up with you on the road. But that said, I have been to Newfoundland twice this year. The trip where I met you was my first.
Nice.
But I was just back there not that long ago with Andre Petitpas, who we both know, and the duo known as Two with Brian Byrne and his wife Tara. So definitely, I've had a lot of experience over in Newfoundland this year. So I'd be more than happy to venture over there to meet up with you again too.
Definitely.
But we didn't have a lot of time to talk about your career and how you got to this point. When we met, I was doing some of the songs and stories stage there with the ECMAs, and I was doing some short form interviews with some performance intertwined there, but I didn't really get to do in depth with too many people. So I'm glad that I'm getting a chance to talk to you a little bit further here.
Likewise, buddy. It's been, like I said, a long time coming. And like, I met you at the ECMAs, and I was like, this dude is a cool cat. I knew right away you were a cool dude. So I was like, man, I want to definitely reach out to him afterwards. So here we
Yeah, we
are.
definitely seem to be swimming in the same circles lately. So it's bound to be a meetup again in the future. So if we dig in a little bit to who you are, so musician is the obvious choice for anyone that's tuning in that's been on this channel before. But if we go back, the easiest question for starting point is when did you find your interest in music?
Oh my goodness. I think it might have been around the age of 6, 7 is when I picked up the guitar for like my parents bought me a guitar, and it was in the corner for a little while. I know that, but so they say, because I can't really remember that time, but I do remember the time where I was in my room and I just stayed in my room playing guitar and listening to music, and Ultimate Guitar was you couldn't leave, you couldn't, that was always on my face. Like I was always eyes and ears into Ultimate Guitar, and had this big old saved all these bookmarks on my Google and stuff. So
Yeah.
just running through songs and stuff like that. That's where I kind of fell in love with music, learning my favorite songs, learning how to actually play guitar, and learning how to sing was, I think, around the age of 7. And it was, I can remember it like it was, what's the word I'm looking for? Looking back on it now, it's nostalgic for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but in the time, I don't think I realized what I was doing and what it was gonna turn into.
Yeah, definitely. I have a whole mixed bag now that I've had a volume of interviews on the channel. But for people that are introduced at a young age, I mean, there's all different influences. But as far as like where you're at with picking up an instrument, a lot of people, it tends to be that their parents saw something that they signed them up for a lesson or maybe something through school. And definitely there's a lot of self-taught people out there, but I typically run into those stories when it's somebody that started like in their mid to late teens or maybe post high school in their early 20s or something. They just looking for a new hobby or to kind of flex a muscle they always meant to explore. But at the age 7, I know a lot of kids over the years, especially with this day and age, that makes me sound super old, but with the access to computers, like my generation, which dates me again, definitely would have had the Guitar Tab magazines,
Yeah.
like boxes of them stacked up in their rooms and stuff for people like in your boat. But I know that a lot of people from your generation would definitely have all the bookmarks, but it usually ends up being something about like Minecraft or Pokemon or something, not necessarily a guitar at that age.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure like I we got a computer. I'm pretty sure it was a Dell laptop. Like first when they first came out with those like cool colored laptops, and I
Yeah.
got the red one. I was like so stoked to have it, but it couldn't download any games. You know what I mean? It didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
me for that. Like it wasn't an actual good computer. It was just one of those browsing computers. So like that's what I did. I browsed chords and YouTube videos. I really loved the YouTube videos when they first came out. Like music videos and stuff like that, like Much Music Countdown. I
Hmm.
was glued to that TV, like, and I couldn't wait for Crush to come on playing King for a Day. You know what I mean? It was,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Amazing. Have you had the opportunity? I mean, that would jump forward quite a bit, but have you had the opportunity to play with those boys at all?
not well. No, I haven't, but I would love to. I would love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I know that the solo careers are definitely still going. I don't know how often they play like as a duo or as a full band, but definitely see the names floating out there every once in a while. So have to keep our eyes out for that in the future as well.
definitely.
And if they happen to stumble across this, like maybe they want you to open for them at some point. You never
That
know.
I would be honored. That would be an honor for me.
So as you get a little bit older, like age 7, as I mentioned, is pretty young. So I imagine that if you were focused on it at that early of an age, that by the time you're into your teens, you're probably getting quite proficient at the guitar.
Well, I can say I can definitely use room for improvement. Everybody can, like in any aspect. I've not, I've yet to actually look into these actual like I can't really play a solo as such, but I can make it sound like a solo, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
really know
yeah.
what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try, you know what I mean? But I would love to actually dive in and actually learn those what do we call them? Those chord schemes, not chord schemes, but
Oh,
the
just like some of your own like riffs, or you're just looking for progressions and stuff
just
like.
progressions and
Mhm.
just like knowing where an actual note is and stuff like I
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah. Like
know what I
reading
mean?
your actual music theory and
Yeah, music theory and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
it's I wouldn't say rare. I probably about a 50-50 split from artists that I like. I don't get into it as much on the episodes sometimes, but just from talking and getting to know some of the artists behind the scenes, it does seem that as far as experience and how they learn, a lot of people learn by ear, and
Hmm.
then there's a lot of people that start with the music theory, which it really depends on kind of what we were getting at, like with your origins and how you were introduced to the actual technique of playing. When you're self-taught, it's a little different. But if you're reading all those things online, you must have been picking up. You definitely got some of the technical jargon down at that point.
Yeah, like the reading tabs and stuff like that, and reading like I could definitely practice a solo and learn
Yeah,
it by memory. But to play it, I would love to be able to play it, just go and rip it, like say what Nick Earl does. I would love,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like it's just some sort of different mastery, and it's just like a magical thing that happens. And I think I'm leaning more towards a singing. I like in my voice. I that's how I see it.
Hmm.
I rather focus on my voice right now, but later in life I think that maybe if something happens to the voice, maybe this is where the guitar is gonna come back and maybe
Yeah.
it's more in depth that way. Yeah.
And so how did that transition then into the songwriting? Like obviously where the vocals are important to you, the lyrics are yours for your original songs. So like there's a deep personal connection there, but how did that transition happen that that's where your focus is from picking up a guitar?
I've always had this feeling, I don't know where it was, if it was in my heart, if it was in my gut, or if it was in my head. I don't know where it came from, but I've always had this obsession for melody and how music actually make you feel and like the feelings that it brings and certain frequencies, certain ways the chords are played. It was just changes a whole perspective if you change one little thing, right? That's kind of where I obsessed over and making people feel what I felt while I was singing. And if I couldn't replicate that, okay, I'm doing something wrong. I need to go back to the drawing board and we need to be able to find a way to connect with everybody in that crowd
Hmm.
somehow, you know. But yeah, that's kind of where I transitioned from wanting to be a vocalist, to be a singer, be a frontman type thing, as opposed to playing the guitar and letting the guitar speak for me. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I love both of them. I love both of it. So
And so now my personal experience with you live is as a soloist with the guitar, and so like that technically leans more into like the folk area in most cases. But I know that even with those type showcases, we end up getting a lot of different genres that are all kind of blended in there. So it's way too broad of a term to be using. So you have a little bit of a country lean in there as well. And obviously, like you mentioned, Nick Earl there, like all of you guys over there that are the rockers, you have little bit of that country mixed in with the rock,
Yeah.
which is probably why you seem to all fit well with Andre and his bandmates, which had the kind of that southern rock kind of feel and with their vibe too. So it's nice to see because even though that is definitely a mainstream sound, it's not as prevalent these days.
Mm.
And it's nice to see that we're making it in our own backyard and like really good tunes too. Like so it's a great time for all of that in the industry. But for yourself, where you're self-taught and then an independent artist, how did you make the jump into being more so recognized as like a recording artist and somebody that would be on an ECMA showcase? Like, was there a long trajectory to that point, or was it somebody guide you and help focus you into that?
So, back in 2021, I released my very first single, but it wasn't without the help of Peter Daniel Newman. He's doing great things right now, and he's only getting what he's now deserving of all these years of work. He's been at this forever, and it's just like finally he's getting a knock down that door. So he's helped me from the very beginning, guide me through, say, not leaning in towards just getting focused on the song. There's more to the song. You know what I mean? There's a way to promote it. There's a way to go about it. There's months in advance that you have to be prepared to release a song. The song could be
Yeah.
released for years, and it's just that you have to have a really good release plan in order for that song to hit the way you want it to. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I'd be as far as I am. But yeah, it was definitely a long game because we started back in it was before 2021. Probably 2 years prior to that, I met Peter, and we were talking and talking back and forth for almost 2 years. And it's just like, okay, this is it. We're going to pull the trigger, and here we are. We're still running on the same little thing we had planned on right from the beginning. So, yeah, it's definitely Peter Daniel Newman definitely helped me for sure.
And a good shout out there, but as you mentioned too, you're still running. Like as you got to that point, you picked up a little bit of steam, and it seems like you seem to be maintaining anyway. So there must be a build up here. I know that we talked off air a little bit about some tentative plans for the new year, but what do you have on your slate as far as like upcoming releases and I know that it's getting into the cold weather, so all of us people on the East Coast kind of slow down our travel plans a little. So maybe you're not leaving Newfoundland anytime in the near future, but if there's any dates you want to shout out.
Well, for sure. Well, the ECMAs are coming up in May of next year, is it? So
Yeah,
that's kind of the one I'm looking forward to. That's the only one I got looking forward to, really, out of the province. But it's just I'm at Moxie's every Thursday. It's just a
yeah,
constant thing that goes on, and I'm thinking if I keep building and appreciate those little things, the bigger things will present themselves, and I will be ready for those big things. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
yeah, it's definitely sometimes it's just like, is this gonna happen? Is that gonna happen? And you're kind of holding out for something. But like, if you look at it like that, that's gonna bring you more anxiety and stuff over it. Just let it be. Go and do your thing. Play. Don't ever forget the reason why you started doing it. It's just to make people happy. So if you keep that in mind, like everything should fall in place. And if it doesn't, well, so be it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It's sometimes hard to keep the eye on the ball when your perspective changes when you're right in the thick of it.
Yeah.
But regular recurring gigs, like in and around your home base, build a good home base fan base.
Yeah.
And as you kind of point out too, like to build up that kind of muscle memory that you can go out there and kill it. You get the stamina, you get your songs nailed down. You're learning what your home base, how they react to the songs that you have.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what kind of, as far as that goes too, like with your writing your own original material, that's something that seems to be debated quite a bit. Definitely in my circles the last year or so. I hear people talking about the struggles of producing and promoting original content versus those regular gigs wanting maybe to play all the hits and covers, which everybody's going to work into their set at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that it has its own challenge when you have original material. But where you do have your own original material, what kind of a ratio do you have when you're doing a typical set?
So that's a really good question, actually, because I ran into a problem the other night, and I didn't know if I should play in my original or I should skip to another cover song.
Yeah.
But what I do, I take it as I wrote the song. The song is on Apple Music with everybody else's music. What's the difference? What is really the difference between the industry and a songwriter? That's the only difference. You have a record label behind somebody else, and you have nobody behind somebody else. That's the
Hmm.
only difference. It's the same. It comes from the same place. So I keep that in mind, and I think of my songs like they're not even mine sometimes, so I can not feel the grossness of trying to promote your own self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, is I kind of yeah, I just and not only that, I play mainly Canadian country. So only hit the so I'll probably play a Sabrina Carpenter song in between all of that Canadian country and my own. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it just mixes it up and lets people know it's okay. Like he's still listening to mainstream music, but he's got his own stuff going on as well, and he wants to promote that as much. Like I want people to see me for who I am, and not that I'm following trends and stuff like that. I want to actually make my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for sure, yeah, it's
And
kind of
I do find in my own perspective, it's as maybe as broad as my range is, where I have been fortunate enough to traverse the provinces, like catching different sets. I do recognize that I also have a little bit of a narrow viewpoint in that maybe the people that I'm around and the people that I associate with these things are people that are doing original content. And because I'm working in a promotional capacity, I don't always know what some of those mainstream things are anymore because I know the East Coast independent scene more so than the broader like American top 40 or whatever. That's how they keep track of that stuff, right? Casey Kasem, he's still
I
doing
think
that.
so.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they still do
Yeah.
that.
So, anyways, like you kind of get my point. Like I'm very aware of all of the original content that's out there and celebrate it every day.
Mhm.
So I don't necessarily have the viewpoint of an artist that's going out there and hitting those stages and the crowd that's sitting there. Maybe they came out for a steak dinner and you just happen to be overlapping their night out, or they're out for a beer with the friends on the weekend. Everyone's out for a different reason. You're not always in the perfect listening room, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I do like to get out there and explore all the different types of venues, and I do like interacting with those different crowds. So it's great to see, but that's a curiosity of mine now that I'm kind of slowing down in my own travels for the winter. I'd like to see the viewpoint of the different artists out there and the audience reaction that you're getting. So it sounds like from what you're exploring too is that the audiences that you have in front of you are kind of giving you the opportunity to kind of lead which direction you're going to take your set. So throwing in originals is perfectly acceptable.
For sure. Yeah, like it's in a way where it does feel a little gross at times, like to promote yourself and stuff like that. But you like once you get over that, you know that somebody in that crowd is going to um they're going to like like I guess what's the word I'm looking for? React, not react, but they're going to actually feel what you're feeling and like
Yeah.
and put their own story into your song.
Yeah.
And like same thing what they do with Morgan Wallen's song. Oh, he must be talking about me in that song. But you know what I mean? Like it sounds sometimes like, but that's the reason why they write such good songs because it's universal and it's meant for everybody. And like that's what I find the perfect song is be able to tell your own story, but for someone else to listen to it and have their story as well.
And now you mentioned Apple Music. So like you're out on all the typical streaming services.
Yep.
So what is your discography like at this point in your career?
It's I find streaming and stuff very difficult to get traction on. I guess if you have the right people in your corner, this is a different story. But one second there now. I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
No problem.
It must have been the cat scratching at something.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, what's going on back there? Right on. No, no, sorry. What was the question again? Sorry about that, buddy.
Geez, I don't know. I can go back. I can go back and clip it right before the question anyway, if you want
Oh,
to
okay,
move on to
sweet.
another one anyway. Um, so yeah, I guess I was talking about your discography a little bit there too. So yeah, how many songs do you have out there on streaming services now?
Yeah,
Is it,
so we got five out right now.
yeah?
Myself and Peter, we co-wrote he co-wrote everything with me, or I co-wrote it with him as well because like some of the songs that we have, I know one shot. I didn't really write on that one as such. Like the lyrics were already written, and
Hmm.
we kind of made it our own way I sang it, I guess, would be my contribution. But he was nice enough, and Kelly McKay and James Hopper nice enough to actually give me that song and say like we want to hear what you sound like on this song, and that was really flattering for me. And that's one of my favorites, I believe. And it's not even one I wrote. It's just something that okay, this is a gift to me, and it's like
Hmm.
they thought about me enough that like this guy could probably do a little good job with this song, and it's just like okay, like that's really good. And finally, after like having four songs of myself, and for someone to do that for me, it's just like okay, well, all your hard work is paying off, and we think we can get you in a room with good writers, with better writers, and we'll try to see what we can do with it. But it's just it's a touch and go game, and like I said before, with the grossness feeling around promote yourself, that's kind of I'm trying to get over that right now, and I think that that is kind of altering the way people see me on socials and stuff as well because I'm not
Sure.
really that fully confident person that they need me to be, you know what I mean? Or I need myself to be. So it's yeah.
It's interesting dynamic because I mentioned generational differences there too, as far as your introduction into things. And the attitude that you're describing is really very much what a lot of the artists in the 90s would have felt as they were coming up, in that they wanted to produce their own original content, but there was something that they didn't like, didn't feel comfortable with the self-promotion. And I think that at least nowadays we can still have that self promotion without relying too much on necessarily somebody else telling you how to go about it, because you have the tools to do it yourself. So you have a little bit more control over that image. So there's a delicate balance, but we just talked about this on a recent episode with Liam Thompson about it does seem like we're starting to get to a balance now where the audience is out there, despite the fact that we all want to see something flashy and smooth and hits all the right buttons. The authentic part that's behind that is the important key and what's getting traction these days. So there is a balance between where you are now and where you want to be, where you're doing authentic content to share with people. And I say that anytime I get into that, I start to laugh at myself a little bit, because I'm obviously a content creator, so I'm not going to knock that side of it at all. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm definitely biased. Maybe you should be at a retreat somewhere and shut everything off to write an album. It sounds amazing. I
Yeah.
haven't had that experience yet. So wait and see where your journeys bring you. But
Yeah.
now I had mentioned you had mentioned that you had four other songs that wrote there aside from the kind of it. I guess in a way it's a co-write, but the song that was given to you.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans for the future? Like, are you planning on compiling an EP or maybe working towards an album in the future?
Yeah, so I think first I'm gonna go with the EP. Just re-release what I have, maybe do a couple acoustic versions, something like that. I'm trying to get back in Nashville for January, and hopefully record stuff not the floor down there, and that would be pretty sweet. Get the video and stuff done, and it would be pretty awesome. That would be a big feat for me because like I hate being in front of a camera. I'm only getting used to doing these interviews now, and it's just like, and I'm really still very green to it all. But yeah, no, it's just it's a fun thing for me, man. It's really fun. I'm after discovering a lot about myself. Um, Pushing yourself through adversity with something that you dream about and so passionately about and you want it so bad. I think that that kind of sculpts your character a little bit finer than what you can possibly do at a 9 to 5 or something like that. Now, if you love your 9 to 5, then obviously you're gonna enjoy it. But like for me, I cannot possibly do a 9 to 5 job. I will be miserable. I will always be thinking about music. I will not be
Hmm.
ever in that moment. I'll always be elsewhere. But with music, I find that I'm here all the time. I'm right here. I'm present. This is where the healthy version of myself is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that like I don't know if I'll ever stop playing music because of that reason, because it brings me so much peace, right? So yeah, I think that's like, and releasing music I find is a big thing. It's a piece of yourself that you're throwing out there to strangers and hoping that they're not going to chew you up and spit you out, so it's definitely empowering when you see people as like, oh man, like Lazy and the Good for Nothings, I love that song, and it's just like just speaking to me. Like I thought for sure that I was going to be lazy and good for nothing, but like I found my niche and stuff, you know what I mean? So like it's really cool to hear those stories, and makes it all worth it in the end.
And now you mentioned a few different collaborators and some people that have helped out over your career, but for live performances, as I mentioned, I'd only seen you doing it solo. So I imagine that a trip to Nashville has its own restrictions as well. But what do you typically do when you're going to perform out there? Do you normally just go out solo, or do you have a full band that you perform with?
All right, so like I've been solo for as long as I can remember. It's only this past month that I've actually gotten together with a couple fellas and said, okay, I think we should start this little band or something. So I got Braden Scamo and John D. I can't even pronounce his last name yet. I haven't even met him yet. So like it's very fresh, very fresh. And I'm just gonna get together and see where it goes and
Hmm.
see what happens. But I'm definitely open to upgrading my performance. That's the way I look at it. I'm not looking at it like, okay, now I have this brand new band and we got to start all over. That's not how it works. It's like you're gonna add these people to your
Yeah.
like to your mindset that you have, and it's just like, okay, we're gonna do this now as a 3 piece instead, and we're gonna be like, it's gonna sound more beefy. It's gonna bring more feeling in. It's gonna bring more emotion in. It's gonna give me a chance to get away from behind a guitar and
Hmm.
actually just with the microphone in my hand and to interact with people and to make sure that the line that I want to hit home hits home. You know what I mean? I haven't got to worry about playing the guitar. I haven't got to worry about how it sounds because the boys are sounding awesome. You know what I mean? It's going to be a team effort this time, and I'm looking forward to what that's going to bring because I've yet to go on tour. I've yet to do even a small Newfoundland tour. I did radio tours, but I
Hmm.
haven't played on a band with a band on tour. This is what I'm trying to do this year, and I'm hoping that everything works out. And and maybe who knows, maybe three of us guys will write a couple songs and bring. I usually write my songs. I'll go to Peter. I'll say, Peter, is this any good or not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he'll proofread it, and he'll be like, "Okay, come on in studio, and we'll lay it down and see what it goes." Most of my songs, believe it or not, have been demos or on hold for another artist, and it's just like, okay, they didn't want it, so we're gonna release it. That's kind of
Yeah.
how I did my first 4 or 5 songs there. So yeah, man, if I can just keep doing this, I would be happy.
Yeah, well, from what I've heard and what it sounds like your plans are, it's only a lot of big things to come. So I'm excited to see where that all goes. Now, a little side note too, I have been to Newfoundland a couple times, but when I talk to artists from the different regions, I used to, because I didn't travel as much, try to pick your brains a little bit on some of your colleagues in your circles. And you did mention Nick Earl. But I'm curious if there's maybe any other artists. There's definitely were a lot put onto my radar in the last couple of years, and especially with ECMAs being over there this year. But being that ECMAs isn't circling back there probably for another couple of years for the typical rotation, is there any other up and coming artists that maybe you want to give a little bit of a shout out to?
Oh my goodness, yes. Where am I going to start? Um, we have so much talent here in Newfoundland. It is actually oozing off of this rock, and I would love for people to shine a light on Lucas Kettle. Lucas Kettle is a good friend of mine, and he can play that guitar like you would never believe. It's like one of those older style country pick and twang like
Yeah,
Telecaster. Like, it's so clean, it's so clean. He's got a couple songs of himself, and he writes as well. So shout out Lucas. And how many more? There's a couple bands now too. I know Claire Follett is in Nick's band, but she's doing a solo project as well this year. I do believe
cool.
she told me. So like, I would love to see like people who are on the bass guitar, people who are in like behind. They're finally getting their voice now. They're like they see how cool this is. They see how people react, and they want to have that same thing. So like just seeing them come out and release their words in their own like
Yeah,
voice, I would love to see. You know, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear Claire's. So, but yeah, there's like every time I go to Greensleeves, there's somebody new on stage as well. Like, I know well Dave White has been down there forever, but like Dave White's music, like he's got songs out there that could be on movies. They could be, and it's just like I don't know where it's. What I guess we're off so far off to the east that it's people kind of forget about us out here. But man, we shouldn't be forgot about. That's for sure.
oh, I definitely like to keep in touch, and that's why I asked those questions too. But now that I know a few of you over there too, I definitely want to make sure that I keep you into my rotation so that I can pick your brains and find out who some of those people are. And that said too, maybe I should be putting some efforts into coming over next year for Music Newfoundland. I think you guys had two different events this year. There's one, is it this week or this week coming? There's one with Music
There's
Newfoundland.
something on the go this week. Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Music NL, I do believe that's like our own little, I
Hmm.
guess, CMA version of just Newfoundland, right?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
definitely have to keep that on my radar for next year. I missed the boat for this fall, but definitely always like to find out who the new up and comers are. And for yourself, definitely keep in touch. Like I said, hopefully we get you over this way. And with ECMAs being in Sydney, we'll definitely get you to Nova Scotia at some point in 26.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got the ticket spot anyway, so I'm gonna be there.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
now for anyone that's new to you, if they want to follow you online and keep up to date with what's happening in your camp, where do you typically send people?
I find Instagram is like the modern day resume for me.
Yeah.
I just send everybody an Instagram, and all my links are right there on the thing. And just click my bio, and it should spit out a bunch of stuff. And if it doesn't, tell me because I'm paying for that.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. And for anyone that hasn't heard you yet, I do think it was funny that you said about being in front of video. I do think somewhere I have a backup of some video files from the showcases at ECMAs, and I think that you're in some of that.
Nice.
I'd have to dig a little bit to see if I have it. But is there anything from your release catalog, one of your singles that you would like to play off with, to give people a little snippet so they have an idea what they're listening to, and they'll go out and listen to the rest of them on the streaming services?
Yeah, so like I got like this little video on Instagram where you can go in and it's like one of those you'll hear me singing it acoustically first and then it switches to like the actual audio so you get the best of both worlds like what it could be live and what it's like on streaming. So I kind of
Amazing.
send everybody to that video. Maybe I'll send that one over to you and plug it in.
Perfect. That sounds like a perfect little taste for everybody out there. And hopefully that helps you get a few different people out to your shows. And hopefully a few people go out there and follow you as well, so that when you have any future ticketed events, so you can get some pre-sales out there too. So thanks everybody for joining us today, and make sure you subscribe to East Coast DNA if you haven't already. Probably gonna eventually get to my much threatened break that I've been planning to take at some point this year, but there are probably about half a dozen episodes surrounding this one. So there's a release schedule at least going to the end of the year. So hit subscribe over on YouTube, and you're definitely in store for a few new to you artists and a few returning artists, and definitely some that are new to the show but have a good reach out there on the East Coast already. So a lot of exciting things going on in the background here, and hopefully I catch a few new audience members myself.
There you go. Well, I bet you I'm going to send over at least 5. So
Amazing. I'll take all of them. All right. Thanks, Rodney. And we'll definitely keep in touch.
Thanks, Darcy. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bills, early night shirts, and excited. We got stories worth more than your 401k. They say we should grow up, can't find dumb luck. Are we gonna do this the rest of our lives? What is something cliche? We don't care what you say. You ain't gonna change our minds. We're just living on glory days. Light it up, blaze a little Marley. Every day's a long neck Friday. Raise them up, life is a highway. We're staying up all night getting wild. Ain't no paycheck for this lifestyle. We don't care, go ahead, say something. We're the lazy and the good for nothing. We're just living on glory days. Light it up, blazing little Marley. Every day's a long neck Friday. Raise 'em up, life is a highway.